victories, both these teams can move to 2-1 with a victory. Join the likes of KT and the other teams at 2-match score. We're early in the season. Hope springs eternal. ROX Tigers versus Kongdoo Monster. Let's get it going.
All right, here we go. ROX over onto the blue side. Going to be kicking things off with the Bants. We'll see where their priority is going to lie. I've seen pretty strong performances out of Linderong, especially with the Camille. You think back to Game 2 versus SK Telecom, likely something that they want to leave on the board.
And you can think back to Edge's hard carry performance on Zoe, one of the few Zoes, maybe the only Zoe we've seen all season was Edge, running that in the mid lane on the first day of the season. So just like that Zoe icon there, chance of seeing her in this game, 0.
And the Rise as well, so just going to be focusing out the mid lane for the most part here from the ROX Tigers, though. Rise, we have seen the Rise top from Kongdoo. It was in a victory.
Let's not
Game
see
2
it
versus
again.
BBQ. I agree with you.
It was bad. No more Rise top Kongdoo Monster. You got too tricky. It's one of those times where you're like, they'll never expect this, and it's like, yeah, because it's bad. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a 40 chess outplayed themselves moment. That's Sejuani and Azir also.
I see a lot of hyper carries available in this draft.
Yes.
That's 5 bans and no AD carries. Will we see maybe the only game this season with no AD carry bans? We will.
Oh boy, well at least to start things off, but you'd expect that the ADCs are going to be locked into this first round before they can get another pass at the bans.
I like this one because
So
artillery
this
for
is,
everyone. It's like, pick your poison, guys. What's the strongest in your opinions? The side of ROX Tigers traditionally,
I wouldn't
it
be
has been the
surprised.
Kalista. That's been the biggest one for
Yeah.
Sungyun in particular. But giving up specifically Kog'Maw to Kongdoo Monster is very risky. Could still see Soul jump onto the Ezreal. It is comfort for him as well. But he's kind of made his name as a Kog'Maw player. So I'm very interested to see what Kongdoo settle on. Still such a different draft. They can get a full bot lane if they want. But for now, just stealing away the Braum. Braum is considered the tier 1 support in Korea.
This is already way more exciting than any of the other drafts that we've seen. So Malzahar, Braum, going to get the lock-ins here. Try to get that Nether Grasp in onto the likes of Songyun, perhaps, and just make sure that he can't hop his way out of the fight. And now the hover over the Corki yet again.
I like how it's very interesting how there was a respect ban against Lava's Galio. He's the one that brought it back in. AP and Tank Galio shown in their series 2 days ago against BBQ. And they actually banned it away, even though Malzahar is seen as a winning matchup into the Galio. Just didn't want to deal with the mid game it provides. Lava's other ultra comfort is the Corki, so just going to try and farm from range against the Malzahar. Going to be pretty non-interactive stuff, but just wants a safe lane there. And look who it is. It's Kog'Maw. It's Kongdoo. It was always coming.
Yeah, big old surprise. We see that one locked
Ezreal
in.
goes non-picked and non-banned. Won't see that many times this season, but does happen here.
A very rare occurrence for sure. But now as we go into the second round, we're going to see that Vladimir taken off the board. Win rate currently going to be that 83.3%.
If you're ROX Tigers, you need to start getting rid of some safe, big, beefy guys. The big tanks in front of the Kog'Maw. What we're going to see locked in by Kongdoo on the red side. Yujun coming in, played 3 games in the Kesper Cup. Looking over his match history there was Sejuani and Shyvana were the 2 champions that he played. Couldn't spy a solo queue account, maybe right now using the barcodes or the random numbers because he's not at least announcing his presence on op.gg. So
This is their secret weapon.
honestly, no one would have expected
upset
him
these
starting,
guys.
given that Raze has looked very good, but they're clearly going to give him a run in the team. Rengar banned away against Yujun. So jungle and also top lane, and why not go for the safest blind pick top lane of all in the Gnar? They banned away the Vladimir Camille, so it was kind of jumping out as obvious when it comes to the red side bans here from Kongdoo.
Maybe we see a return to the Lucian top to try to go in. I doubt it. I don't think that's going to quite happen here, but the moment we have the hover over the Taric.
Jace available. Also been played so far this season by Linderong. If you want a winning lane matchup against the Gnar, that's the pick you go. Honor the only, of course. Probably not going to expect any Yasuo hijinks here, so waiting on this last pick from ROX Tigers. Will it just be the Jace? And no, it seems like they're just going to give up the laning phase a little bit in the top side, and Gangplank certainly can try to weather the storm. So Linderong, after losing on Jace, doesn't feel the confidence. And okay, Yujun just locks in the Kongdoo special. Before it was Punch, who was known as the resident Lee Sin player on the team. Now it will in fact be Yujun. The moment that he sees the Gangplank, suddenly Lee Sin does rise in priority. Very big contested pick in China. And in a scenario like this where Lee Sin's one of the best champions to deal with Gangplank because the oranges don't really affect his kit at all when it comes to the ganks pre or post 6. It isn't necessarily as tanky a lineup as we're used to with the Kog'Maw, but Kongdoo Monster are the sort of team that take Kog'Maw because it's comfort and don't always draft fully for a Kog'Maw draft. So interesting stuff from the side of Kongdoo and a potentially very flashy debut coming for Yuujun on the Lee Sin.
I mean, they do have plenty of lockdown for the Kog'Maw. The Gnar going in with the Mega Ultimate, just stunning them into the wall or also pushing them away. Lee Sin with the kick can keep the Kog'Maw safe in peel form, as well as Braum sitting there with the Unbreakable, ensuring that no projectiles are getting in onto that Kog'Maw. So they do have a pretty adequate amount of protection for him. It's just going to come down to, surviving the laning phase. We'll see how that goes, given that Songyun has his bread and butter pick with this Kalista.
And it is a lot of safety from the side of Kongdoo. They have good lane control in most areas, and also Yuujun to potentially just exacerbate that and get them a winning early game and a Kog'Maw, which is always the dream when you lock in at the Void Puppies. So good draft here from Kongdoo, but no guarantees. And the Lee Sin, it's been more down than up recently. Spirit couldn't make it work. Peanut couldn't make it work.
All right, well, Yuujun, very young into his career, first time on the big stage. Let's see if he's going to have those jitters or if he can pop off with the Lee Sin as we jump onto the Rift for game number 1. Fans from both sides, very dedicated, the ones that have shown up here this evening.
Round of applause to them. It's great to see people come, even though it is, school just out and things like that. It's difficult to get here for 5 p.m. That's a very good drawing.
That is a great drawing.
Looking very svelte in that picture is good old Songyun, who had a lot of mess to talk last time we heard his interview.
Straight out of an anime right there, that one.
Songyun, one of our best personalities here in Korea, was made famous back on the Rebels Anarchy days of just trash talking with his old lane partner of Snowflower. Songyun and Snowflower, big characters, so sad to lose Snowflower over to the TCL, but that's their gain, and we still have Songyun talking hot mess whenever he can.
Even on his teammates.
Oh yeah, always on his teammates.
I mean, got a little bit of a trash talk there against Kuzan, so Songyun
well,
is,
he trash talked Kuzan, and now
great.
Kuzan's not playing, so...
That's true. What could it mean?
Oh, what could it mean?
All right, we're just going to be starting things off here at the red buff, helping Sungwon out.
Stopwatch number at 8. This is stopwatches are almost a maximum here, Achilles.
We are we're getting damn close. Have we had a game of full 10?
No, 8 I think is our highest. I don't think we've had a 9 either. We've had a 5 stopwatch team. As Roach really misplayed the minion aggro there.
Yeah.
That was bad, and he might now...
Maybe it's all just an elaborate bait.
It could all be a ruse, like you say.
Yuujun pushing his way up here, has the level 2 in the red buff. Linderong, no ward thrown down. Come on, Roach. Take a lot more damage now. Gonna be trading back a little bit. Yuujun still just sitting in the brush.
I mean, he's already winning the lane when it comes to lane presence and where the lane is expected to go, so why get greedy? Not going to be a solo kill for a Gangplank on a Gnar.
Well, now we'll just have maybe the solo kill here for Yuujun as he pushes in, looking for Songwon. Stops him at the blue buff, will throw down the ward.
I don't really like the use of time there from Yuujun because, sure, he skipped over a second camp, but he looked for a gank, didn't get it, and then was also in position. Look for the contest here. No movements from Songwon. Would have been a reset on the blue if he tried to move at all, but Yuujun backs away. He gets the Rift Herald, gets a bit of safety. The Rift Herald, the Rift Scuttler. Sorry, got Rift on the mind. Gets the coverage for the Gnar. He'll go back to pushing in the top side. He had a bit of normalcy here.
Oh, edge. Walking his way over. Just going to lose a passive. That's about it.
It's definitely one of the least satisfying ways to lose your passive. The level 1 Jarvan W.
Perfect. Feels a bit bad there. You can see Roach, however, regaining control over the lane. Hasn't fallen behind as far as CS is concerned. He's forcing out those corrupting potion charges from Linderong.
Observers have learned not to bother watching bot side at all, unless Teddy's playing. Then apparently you can get 2v2 kills as an Ezreal.
I don't know if we should come back to this top side until Linderong at least has a Young's Ghostblade.
Where would you like the camera to be, Achilles? You can choose right now. Where would it be?
I'd be fine watching the Lee Sin.
Okay.
I want to take a look at Yuujun, see how he's going to do here on his debut performance.
Check out his autos and his energy management, killing the wolves. Very exciting stuff.
You got to get those passive weaves in, man.
You do. Well, someone also wants to check out some Lee Sin mechanics. He's in the enemy jungle.
He's walking in, doesn't realize there's going to be that ward thrown down inside the blue pit, which he's just outside of the range of that. I don't know if he got spotted wrapping around the top of that little curve.
I believe it did, but
Probably.
no real way to respond. Kongdoo Braum don't have lane control. Tarek would have been the first person to waddle over, so won't be too much to talk about. And one of the things we haven't been able to mention, because there's been a lot of talk about Relic Shields, Overheal, a lot of optimism that perhaps the changes on 8.2 that just went live should hit Korean. I would imagine 2 weeks might change things up, but one of the things that's kind of lost there, Achilles, that allows you to get 3 potions as well. So there's sustain on both the abilities, but there's also more potions than bot laners have been able to pick up unless they're picking up, say, a longsword or potions, or sorry, boots and pots. So at the end of the day,
I mean, that was a completely correct statement.
There's a lot of sustain, an insane amount of sustain in the bot lane, so very non-interactive.
You can't pick up more potions if you're buying potions.
It's true. But the 12 potion stacking start is gone, thankfully.
Oh, dear.
The Sulcy special.
Those were dark, dark times. But tower dive going through here.
It's only level 3 on Yujun, though.
He's going to go ahead, pick up the aggro. Linderong going low, flashes the other side. The Q's not going to connect, and now Yujun has to go ahead and flash away. One more hit from the turret would have taken him down, and Linderong manages to stay alive.
Yujun with a bit too much happy footing. Wasn't level 4 when he definitely should have been 5 minutes into the game. Lava also chunks that edge, but he's going to get a answering teleport for his troubles. Yujun has to have the economy of time used. We complimented him on his decisions at level 1, but then wasn't able to hit level 4 for the turret dive.
It's going to be the dazzle there. Breakable from Streak, able to go ahead and block out. A bit more of that harass coming through. They're going to try to turn things around, get the concussive blow stacks rolling there onto Key, but they can't really get the hits in. They're just going to be a bit of poke in onto the Braum. Otherwise, Soul quite all right to stick around.
Recurve bow is a pretty important power spike for the Kog'Maw on his way to the Rage Blade. Probably going to be the first purchase here, and that would allow him to stack up the concussive blows that much faster, and the extra physical damage on hit helps with the last hitting, so you don't need to necessarily rush for the pickaxe, like most other conventional 80 carry builds. For now, Kongdoo Monster very defensive in the bot side. We're watching Sungwon for a second, looking for an in into the mid lane, but not finding anything.
It's going to be another one of those games. We had a really interesting draft. Things just kind of drifted off after that attempted dive in the top lane. I think Yujun was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to slow down. Wait till maybe I have that level 6 so I can go for the kick, guarantee the Sonic Wave.
Stopwatches are armed, which, again, in the LCK has traditionally meant inactivity, but there's always the chance for an insane turret dive. We can be glass half full for a moment.
Just trying to stay alive here. Voidlings get cleared out very quickly by lava, so not able to get too much damage to trade back there in onto the Corki.
I want to talk about what ROX Tigers have done on the map in the early game. That is 3 control wards on the top side. Means that Lava can just dart topwards, also provides coverage for his own blue buff, so he can take that in a couple of moments' time. But most importantly, it means that Gangplank doesn't have to worry about a turret dive again, or any sort of aggression for now. Means that GP has been able to stay very competitive, down only 6 CS, just 1 minion wave, in a tough matchup for the GP. Yujun jungling in wards at both Raptors and Red. The vision gained by ROX Tigers is significantly better than what we've seen from Kongdoo Monster in the first 7.5 minutes.
Far so good, but now Roach looking to go aggressive here onto Linderung, who does not have that flash available. It's a transformation a bit late there, so can't try to go in for the wallop or perhaps the stun into the wall. And Yujun just now arrives. He's going to spot out a control ward, take that one down. Gain a little bit more control back here for the side of Kongdoo, but still, that first blood that they would love to get against the Gangplank to help shut him down is eluding them.
Some of the vision starting to be cleared out, but still, Kongdoo Monster, not with the vision supremacy you'd expect, given the Gnar Mouse or hard topside draft. We'll be jumping in for the blue buff. We said it was going to be safe, but Yujun is there. Jarvan is not. It's going to be a trade of buffs, it looks like. For now, just a Grump.
Bit the back and forth there, but yeah, Songwon already prepped in lava, waiting on the wall. We'll pick this one up. And just sitting nearby, however, might want to get the stop on this blue buff take.
Yeah, Lava's low mana. Used a lot of mana, even though his teleport's not up soon. In fact, Edge is closer to teleport, so a bit surreal here.
Can't offer up too much damage, but there we go. Deny the vision. just in case, and Lava will get that last hit. Not gonna walk into the brush though, so doesn't see that control ward in the river.
So how you been, Achilles?
Oh, I've been just dandy, you know. Watching this engagement in the top lane. And Barrage coming down, Linderong trying to trade back here on the Roach as he goes mini, but now he's got the hyper stacks, flashes in. Goes golden with the stopwatch to deny that third proc, but it's still gonna be there. Oh, no, expires just in time, but seems like Linderong still might go down. If only Roach could hit the shots. Auto attack's gonna be the reliable ones. And Edge tries to get the tag in, tries to steal away. That first blood is not gonna find it. Now flashes over the rocket, gets it at the grasp into the Sonic Wave. Resonating strike here from Yujun, but it's gonna be Lava dashing his way over. With the Valkyrie, keeps himself safe, but flashes down now for the Corki.
The game really burst into life, just a straight up misplay. A 1v1 kill for Roach onto the Gangplank. Gangplank was doing so well into the lane and then got greedy, got kind of baited into what he thought was a false sense of security. Goes down the pure 1v1. They can't quite get a second kill. You see Lava being zoned now as Yujun has moved up the control ward line. Kongdoo really just turning on the style around 8 minutes in. They understand the strength of their draft early, and it's good to see them playing around it, even if not a maximum victory.
So, good little push forward there from Kongdoo, but still slightly behind as far as the gold is concerned.
Joel has gotten onto Discord and given us an update. Could you please read it out there, Achilles?
Yeah, so we've been told that actually it's not Yujun as we would typically read it phonetically in English, but actually Yujun. So,
okay.
We'll pretend like there's an E on it. So
we're learning. We're all learning about
Yujun
as a player, his name. We can do him justice now.
We've had people in the past where we have to
somehow Ed is
still
tilted about this.
Yeah. But Yujun from here on out. Waiting for him to be like Key is pronounced Keith. What?
That's when we start putting up our hands. But no, that's not a thing. I can see how that would be Yujun, so we'll give him a chance. We'll roll with it for now, as ROX Tigers kind of have to roll with the punches Kongdoo Monster are going to be throwing out in the early game. The moment they opted into Gangplank versus Gnar, that was the reality they chose to live in. No guarantees the late game will be fruitful for them, but two items, they're very, very powerful.
Oh, another exchange coming through here, Lava. Just gonna keep himself safe. Uses that QSS that he's built up very quickly. Get out of the nether grasp and keep himself alive.
Well, QSS Rush Corki is always a bit of a downer.
It certainly doesn't feel great.
Saw his top laner be solo killed, so safety first, not necessarily the wrong decision by Lava. Does delay their power and does mean that Rageblade Kog'Maw as a one-item spike might be able to run around and cause some fruitful engagements. ROX against the run of play want to start up the ocean, sorry, not the ocean, the Cloud Drake.
Yujun is in the vicinity.
You don't have to say it with quite that much gusto every time.
They have to put the emphasis in here to remind myself. I need to kind of beat it into my memory. But, yeah, we'll go ahead and dissuade the Cloud Drake tank as that ward's thrown down. Shows a little bit of presence there. And otherwise, seems to just be tiptoeing in and out of the river.
Vision line is kind of the biggest story of this game. ROX have once again been able to make it quite robust on the top side, but that just kind of magnifies the mistake by Linderong, who walks up again.
Yeah, just stun into the wall, instant cleanse with the orange there. So Linderong keeping himself safe, but still taking some pretty hefty hits.
And the biggest cost of the first solo death is not necessarily the gold, but also having the stopwatch broken means that a turret dive can happen pretty reliably. Only the control wards for now are delaying that. And in the Champ Select, we talked about how Yujun on the Lee Sin has one of the best ganking junglers for dealing with a gank. Might just kick him away from the turret. Oranges won't really change anything there. Now he's playing around the mid lane. Bot lane is what is now the customary extended farm fest. We all farm forever. Rageblade is now a very viable starting item because no one is building Dirks to try to punish it.
It's great.
Bot laning forever. Again, I've said this a couple of times this week, but I'm really struck by how the pro meta and the solo queue meta have probably never been more different when it comes to how games play out. Solo queue is very, very fast right now, and competitive play very, very slow. Even after some quicker games recently, it's around 41 minutes at the moment.
I've had a handful of slower games going about 50 minutes. Nearly broke 60 on one of them, but that's maybe 3 out of all of the ones that I've played so far. So definitely seems to be a lot more faster pace. And still cute. Things are a bit more crazy. People are more reckless.
But you don't
still
necessarily envy the job, the balance and the game flow or game health people had to deal with, because if you remember, all the talk in the preseason was we have to find ways to extend the games. The games are too short. And then in competitive play, predictably, everyone used that for defensiveness, and we have the meta we have now, so they got to pivot from there. It seems like Kongdoo Monster are pivoting. They actually have to smite away the blue buff onto Yujun, though.
Just deny that one out. Saw the TP used there from Edge just to rejoin in case we saw an engagement come through. Roach, in the meantime, he's just maintaining his presence, has been stretching a pretty nice little CS lead here over Linderong. We'll take a look at the gold figures eventually to see just how far ahead or behind he could be. Depends on those parley procs coming through.
Again, ROX went scaling. ROX is up in gold. Scaling plan still going pretty damn well for ROX, and Kongdoo haven't turned it into a Drake.
Double dazzle coming through there from Key. Secret going to push forward, has that unbreakable thrown up. Stun coming through, concussive blows there onto Key as he keeps pushing in, goes low. The damage from Soul really starting to answer back there onto the Tarek. Comes down, a bit of a rend from Songyun, but not much damage going to be coming from it. Soul and Secret still quite safe. They have the Glacial Fissure, they each have their flashes. So we'll just go ahead and retreat back behind the turret for the moment and continue to farm up.
Java was in best position to respond. They had no control over the bot side river. That's why Kongdoo Monster, even with 6 stacks onto the Rage Blade, didn't go forward. Results in more inaction, but that was a smart play to back away. They haven't been able to contest the vision line, so it should be a free Cloud Drake here for the side of ROX Tigers. Maybe not. They're going for a late contest. Corky's forced out of lane. Can't teleport back in.
Yeah, half HP. Ward comes over the wall yet again, now backing up. Secret pushes forward, gets a ward thrown down into the Tribe Brush, but that's going to swiftly be cleared out. But it looks like Kongdoo, now with that inside track, will be able to pick this up. Kick goes through in onto Songwon. He goes low, but the Cosmic Radiance actually keeps him alive. Now he's just skirting around the outside of the fight. Yujun has to go ahead, flash away, trying to keep himself alive, and over the wall. Comes in with the Fate's Call. Key trying to get the lockdown, has a stopwatch to keep himself alive at the same time, but now the Soul going through with the Cog Ball.
Everyone's
takes
golden.
down Callista. Back and forth, everyone, no one going down at the start, but now everything exploding at the finish. Soul picks up a kill. Songyun finds one as well. Lava's trying to hunt down Yujun. Everything is a mess 16 minutes in. My brain is fried because stopwatches are everywhere.
Exactly. It was crazy stuff there between Kongdoo and ROX Tigers. At the start, honestly, the most ironic thing about it was that ROX got the Cataclysm, tried to engage, but because they didn't drop the Cataclysm early, they kind of wasted the first 2 seconds of the Cosmic Radiance, got no value out of it. Linderong taking a lot of damage in lane. Watch Roach here, might try something creative, but both players have flash. Very, very extended stuff. You're gonna watch the replay, and if you're a clockmaker, look away. Many broken timepieces are incoming into this fight. But at the start, by the time they drop the Cataclysm, they've already wasted Cosmic Radiance. They go over the wall, nice mechanics from Songyun to skip over, doesn't need to flash. And you think this is going to be a rout from the side of Kongdoo. If they actually, ROX Tigers, at the start, were able to keep up the Cosmic Radiance, it could have been bigger win for them. It ends up being pretty even.
Well, it was crazy. We saw several of those stopwatches get burned out. So fortunately, we're not going to be having too many of those remaining as we go ahead and push forward into this game. So that's something that I can get behind and support wholeheartedly here, Papa Smithy. But yeah, I mean, nothing has really changed. It's still about 400 or 500 gold separating these two squads. The Cloud Drake did go over to Kongdoo, but obviously that's not going to be contributing combat stats. So we're still very, very even in this game, and it could go either way. But Soul picking up 2 kills with that Cog Ball makes him quite scary. The Rage Blade's completed. He already has another Hurricane ready to go, or he's working towards the Hurricane as he's got the recurve bow.
ROX going scaling and winning in gold is still kind of the worry. If you're a Kongdoo Monster fan watching this from home, the players wouldn't have full information, but just given the nature of a Kleptomancy gangplank, you kind of put 2 and 2 together, and he'll be doing great in the gold values despite being around 30 CS behind. It's definitely been scaling drafts from most teams. No, KSV will probably be taking a scaling draft in our second set of the day. If you get away with it, Kongdoo look a bit more indecisive compared to when Raze was really dictating games in his first few games on the roster of Kongdoo Monster. Inaction suits ROX Tigers, even if there's a Togmore, bit of late game insurance on the side of Kongdoo Monster.
shields just stacking up there in the bottom lane as they try to trade with each other, but no one can even get through. A little bit of damage though. In onto Songyun, but he's got the Blade of the Ruin King, so he's going to be perfectly fine. Just keep sustaining back up, as well as the Taric there to keep him topped off. So we should just go back to ignoring the bottom lane until we see a Fate's Call drawn out, perhaps. Songwon sitting in the river. Yujun staring at him from a distance. Fate's Call's going to come through. They get the pop up there in on Kog'Maw. Dazzle comes down to keep him stunned up. Cosmic Radiance coming through. Songwon joins in the fight. Soul is going low. Might see him die. Cataclysm coming down. Flashes away. The Rend stacks are still there, but they haven't been able to finish him off. But the Dragon Strike from Songwon does get him. Songyun now, however, on the wrong side of the fight, gets picked off by Edge using the Nether Grasp. They take down the Callista. 1-for-1 exchange as both ADCs fall, and it seems like yet again we're gonna have a pretty even trade.
That's all you can really say, Achilles. 1-for-1, both of them AD carries. Just now noticing that some of the keystones here a little bit different. Lethal Tempo from Songyun and Unsealed Spellbook on the side of Soul, kind of following in the deft school of thought of just Unsealed Spellbook on every AD carry for the ability to be flexible and teleport in and vary up your summoners. Lethal Tempo Callista, certainly one when the rune was announced you would consider would be a possibility to go over that attack speed cap. We're so used to Fleet Footwork that it's always a surprise when you see something else. Watching here, Roach continues to push, continues to grow a CS lead, but only small, only minute.
Yeah, it's not very, it hasn't gotten larger for quite some time.
Raises the frustration levels a little bit. I think everyone around the world is waiting for the action to really kick off in this particular game. We could see some very sick team fights when we actually get to them. I want to see the effectiveness of the Lethal Tempo on Songyun. Probably needs to hit 2 Zeal items before we really see things hitting high gear, but whenever there's a bit of innovation, we should talk about it.
Just excited that we have 1 stopwatch remaining. Just going to be Edge there in the mid lane. Currently sitting on one.
And the thing is, in isolation, I think Stopwatch is really cool. Stopwatch ability to Zonia's.
When it's the widespread,
Sure, it's
pretty much must-buy thing.
it's a symptom, right? It's a symptom of a bigger problem. The bigger problem is inactivity, and one of the symptoms is Stopwatches.
Nether Grasp coming down. Edge taking so much damage, flashes away. And the Mirage coming through. He's going to go gold and finally uses it. And he might still. There it is, the rocket from Lava. Well-timed, wraps around the other side of the minions. Does take him down.
There's actually pretty poor awareness by Edge. The moment that he flashed away, he thought his job was done. The first hit of the Cannon Barrage hit him. He could have avoided a future hit, but then he used the Zonia's. Only ever going to die with the Stopwatch. So that's a bonus to the side of ROX Tigers. They're really increasing the pace here with the scaling comp.
Yeah, now trying to get aggressive there. Onto the bottom side of the map. Wraparound coming through from Lava. Cosmic Radiance comes through as Key pushes in underneath the turret, but it's still at half HP. They can't burst it down. Take too much damage between that and the Kog'Maw, so they will just go ahead and peel back. But yeah, I mean, Edge can feel good about himself. That was the closest that he'll play to Faker probably in his career.
That's harsh. Yes, that's really harsh. I'm going to continue being harsh and say I've not been impressed with a lot of Tarics, and the Taric ults this game have been a little bit too early. Key's been a little bit too excited when it comes to popping that ability.
Oh, there, now Secret by himself as the rest of the members of his team push up to do this Mountain Drake. Seems like he'll get out of there safely. Still had the flash and the stand behind me. He'll get himself out to safety, so seems like he's going to be just K.
Out of nowhere, gold lead of over, well, around 3,000, I should say over 2,000 for the side of ROX Tigers. Mostly because of the Kleptomancy and the top side and the good CS numbers in mid lane as well. 31 CS is a huge lead. This Edge doesn't have flash.
No, he does not. He's going to be trapped in there. Throws out the Nether Grasp, tries to stop some of the damage from Songwon, but Lava has plenty more to offer up from the backside, and they will burst him down, so he dies yet again. 1-2-1 currently on that Malzahar, as ROX Tigers keep advancing forward, now with about a 3,000 gold lead.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of rookie junglers this season, especially with Wolf also moving to that area. Songwon picks up the smite. I love seeing these more experienced junglers be the alpha, walk up, make the smart map moves, and not necessarily always expect Yujun to be in the right position at the right time. And so far, Songwon, for the first time in his career, it feels like taking on the role of the more experienced jungler compared to, obviously, the much younger Yujun, has done a really good job.
It's been quite good for him, especially just winning out. Some Smite Wars coming through.
I mean, 100% kill participation, smart turret dive onto Edge in between two turrets. It's been a good display from Songwon, who is backing up what he said in that interview, saying that, you know, this is my time to stand up. This is the time I feel comfortable.
Sorry, Mighty Bear.
Showing good. And yeah, Mighty Bear, a player who did have a lot more competitive experience, having played overseas. Played one game, the first game of the season, and then hasn't been cited since.
Bunkers for Mighty Bear. See if we get to see him throughout the duration of the season, but so far, Songwon, if he can maintain this level of performance.
Look at this gold lead. 1,500 gold from the jungle is a very big lead.
God.
Right now, he's 2 levels ahead. Remember that catch-up experience was removed in this season, so you can actually maintain CS advantages if you are both on point with your ganking, and counter jungling, I should say, is also a real thing now because you don't have the ability to catch up anywhere near as easily if you're Yujun.
I mean, this is just such a really awkward position for Yujun because he's got Black Cleaver Warrior enchant. He is going to be so very squishy. The only front line they reliably have is going to be the Gnar and the Braum. So inserting himself into the back of a team to try to get a Dragon's Rage kick out, it could just be him getting annihilated by a Corki.
You always have that, big hope in your head of playmaking if you're Yujun, but as you say, the guarantee, the reliability is a lot lower than the highlight plays that always permeate Reddit and things like that. At least in one of our flashiest gems, still could be a big factor as bot lane.
Roche going in, pushes Linderung in underneath the turret. Cannon Barrage comes down, he transforms, he's going to be exhausted. Edge does arrive here with the TP. Trying to save his life, but it's just not going to happen. Roche taking too low, burns the flash anyway, and still goes down, and now so will that turret. Tier 1 in the bottom lane, taken alongside of that in the mid, 2-0 in that regard, as ROX just continue to stretch this gold lead further and further.
Upside
lockdown yet, Songyun going to go low. Glacial Fissure was there to predict him. Didn't pop him up, but the Fate Skull is going to have to be brought out here by Key. They throw him back in as the Cosmic Radiance comes down.
Teleport as well.
TP in the back, that's going to be the package, still being delivered by the Corki. They jump in, looking for Soul, trying to lock him down. Exhaust comes down, he's going to get popped. Linderung finds the kill. Secret working his way back, Dragon's Rage kick in onto Linderung, but just like I said before he can even get the Resonating Strike, Yujun gets absolutely blown up by lava. No kill onto the GP, he's still alive. 4 members dead on the side of Kongdoo as Roach comes back up, and that is going to be a Baron picked up for the ROX Tigers.
Yeah, nothing Edge can do, and Achilles, it extends both of our points, because if you watch what just happened on the map, a turret dive bot side, Songwon there to tie up the enemy team, and then where is Yujun on this side of the map? You have to play around where you think your team is strong, where your team is going to play. You need to be in position for a turret dive or a counter gank, and Yujun is happy footing. Double teleport comes in. He is never on the same page as his team. He's consistently out of position because he's just new. He's a rookie. He's only new to this stage. He dies for free, trying to make something happen after his teammates were already dead. And you're seeing the epitome of a first-game player and a more seasoned player in Songwon.
If we saw, a little bit more armor or MR onto him, perhaps you can go for that play. It's the kill in onto Linderung, but even then, it's just not really worth it.
It doesn't matter how many items you have if you're not where the action is, and reading the map as a jungler is one of the most important things. On Lee Sin, there's more of a mechanics tilt than on other junglers, but in general, jungle's all about reading the map, and we said these are the things he can do. The lanes were primed for him to have an impact. That didn't happen, that script went away. But now in the business end of a game, where we see Songwon always where his team needs him, putting down vision, this is kind of reminded me of Ambition versus a lot of other junglers, where he's always putting down wards and covering brush to allow his team to get objectives. And unfortunately for Yujun, he's just not been in the right spot.
Well, unfortunately for Secret, maybe here perhaps. We'll go ahead and jump over, stand behind me, gets himself away from that dazzle. But ROX Tigers, Baron buff in hand, perfectly set up to go ahead and just swoop through the remaining turrets here on the map. Top tier 2 going down very swiftly. Reinforced ROX from Lava, who is 404 on this Corki, is just going to be melting down these turrets. So firing off with his ulti, just trying to get a little bit of damage in, but just barely tickling the members of the ROX Tigers at the moment.
They have the scaling draft. They also have the siege comp. Incredible siege from ROX Tigers. That's why Kongdoo Monster have to back away. No true initiation outside of Malzahar and a Mega Gnar. Lee Sin, like you say, will be turned on if he tries to make a play. So They watch as their first inhibitor goes down. It probably won't be the last.
Very likely not. Unless they can manage to just push straight through the top lane and kill the Nexus from there, which I suppose is a possibility, given the way that this game's been going. But yeah, tier 2 down into the mid lane as well. Linderong going to wrap around towards the bottom side of the map. Try to get those minions moving. And, I mean, very slow start to the game, but now we're over a 10,000 gold lead for the ROX Tigers, so maybe a good time to invest in that ROX coin.
ROX coin looking better and better. After their first series, I thought, I don't know about this, not sure what I think, but they're really leveling up in a way that I couldn't have seen preseason. Yep. I put them right down at the bottom next to Kongdoo Monster, and they have looked a league above them in their recent performances.
Been quite good. Though I suppose like other cryptocurrencies, you kind of wish you invested in ROX coin back in 2016 as well. But
they would have been very overvalued in 2016.
It's climbing its way back up there. It's trying to make it back to that peak.
I mean, if you're going to have a cryptocurrency kind of train of thought, then it kind of went to dust after 2016. The 2017 market for ROX coin was...
The bubble bursted.
Yeah, oh, certainly, at the end of 2016. A couple of players left, don't remember their names, but I think they were pretty good. ROX Tigers trying to reinvent themselves after the loss of that famous lineup that so many people grew to become fans of. And even in unlikely ways, like Lava coming in and keeping away Kuzan. Kuzan's not going to play game 2, you'd have to think. After another great performance from Lava, this former trainee of SK Telecom T1, used to be their sub-support trainee, I should say, next to Aiming, who's now on the Afrika Freaks. Never old enough to actually play, but moves position to mid lane, has shown a lot of things on the ROX Tigers. And then Narang and Songwon finally making a name for themselves after 2 years of being just squad players. Definitely no name value on the ROX Tigers, but the results are starting to come in more consistently.
Yeah. Wish I could remember those names. Those former players. As we go ahead and take a look at the Cataclysm coming down. All Barrage thrown down as well. Cosmic Radiance comes in just in time to try to keep Songwon alive. He's going to go ahead and get the flag and drag and the shield. Manages to make it out with his life. The turret stands here for the moment, but ROX still do have those super creeps pushing in, getting ready to pressure the base in the top side of the map.
And one of the reasons why Warmongs is so popular is, watch this, you can stick around, move away for a little bit, do a bit of dancing, and you're full health again, because Warmongs is great. Coming back here, still low health bars, a lot of ults down for Kongdoo Monster as well.
Trying to poke them out here. The powder cake, Songwon yet again pushing in, gets the pop up there onto Roach. They just ripped him down to half HP, even though he's in Meganar. He's going to have to retreat back. Second inhibitor will fall. Super Creeps pushing into the base now, and the wave is prepped in the bottom side of the map. The ROX can go ahead and just swoop right over there and perhaps get the 3-0 inhibitors completed. Maybe just go ahead and get the 1-0 to start off this series. They look to end the game 340 minutes, which I am in full support of.
There's no force available here for Kongdoo Monster. I don't think another Malzahar ultimate is going to work. Cosmic Radiance soon to be off cooldown or off cooldown. Can't tell on our small monitor here. Looks like it's off cooldown.
I think it's got a little bit longer.
But regardless, will be available very, very soon. Songwon can pull back after putting down the flag to try and let his 80 carries do the hard work, and look at that siege coming through from the GP.
Soul is already poked down, about half HP. Turret as well, just a few hits from dead. As Kongdoo starting to look like their former selves. And unless something miraculous happens in the next 30 seconds or so, they're going to be losing another inhibitor and probably this game.
You see what the choice is? All right, it's going to be a ROX initiation.
Yeah, it's going to be key flashing forward, looking for the Dazzle. Can't quite find it as the turret goes down. In the meantime here, the rest of ROX just going to be focusing out the inhib. They get all 3 of them, and seems like they're more than happy with that result. They will go ahead and peel back.
Baron buff spawning in 40 seconds. No real chance of a contest with their base in tatters, so no need to overstay from the side of ROX Tigers. They got what they wanted. Got the maximum, you'd have to say. Tax weight items start coming through. Might actually see some sick lethal tempo plays in a future team fight. Sangyun, whereas for Kongdoo Monster, the early game was their biggest point of hope. The snowball drop could have happened here. It didn't. Kog'Maw is at a decent power spike, but the front line for him is pretty non-existent, even with a Braum, Lee Sin, and a Gnar. Just feels like we're waiting for ROX Tigers to ice the game.
ROX just doing all of the prep. Sure, they get the Scuttle Crab, they got the blue buff over onto Lava, and the Baron is now spawned. Complete control over the vision in the area. So So should be free to go ahead and start this one up pretty much whenever they want. Seems like they will go ahead and swoop through this red side jungle, just to make sure that Kongdoo has no way of getting it even near the buff. And look at a red buff as a nice little consolation prize for their invade.
It's just time for them to start the Baron.
Yep.
Apparently Key doesn't get an invite. Feels bad, man. You know you're ahead when your 280 carries don't need a tank, a Taric, or anyone to take the Baron.
Nope. Just take it themselves. Oddly enough, the Kalista doesn't get it with the Ren.
You know, not necessarily a bad omen for this game. Sounds like one, but it's going to be very, very standard stuff from ROX Tigers. The tutorial victory is looking very, very likely. Not unblemished, but it feels largely unblemished. They've been in control of this game earlier than you would have expected with the scaling draft. Second time the top lane inhibitor goes down, and we're just waiting for them to kill that damn Nexus.
Yeah, I mean, the second half of this game has pretty much been unblemished for the ROX Tigers. Haven't really seen anything go against them. As we will see the back there, Lava looking for the package. She's got TP available. So he's going to be casting that straight back here into the mid lane. So it seems like we might have a bit of an explosive ending, as that Super Creep was really trying to get into the base.
It was bugging out.
Just let me go. I must hit things. There's going to be the engage coming through here, so I want them to be pushed back, goes back in with the flag and drag. Cosmic Radiance just keeping him nice and healthy as the burst damage is coming through from Lava on the sidelines. First one to go down will be Yujun. He's going to fall. A triple kill over to Lava, looking for a little bit more. If only he could get the hits, but they retreated safely back into the fountain. But their shot comes through. That's actually the Quadra. Can they get it? They're going to go for it. Roach, he's going to get burst. Got it! Pentakill goes over to Lava, and ROX Tigers will take the game here. Game one over to them. Kongdoo Monster completely shut out.
The floor is lava sometimes. This time the Rift was Lava. Achilles, pentakill, first of the season in Korea for Lava in the mid lane. Big ups to him. Big ups to the ROX Tigers, who took scaling against Kongdoo Monster. The Kongdoo Monster so wayward in the early game. They took a big risk giving Yujun his LCK debut, and unfortunately, he just didn't look up to the task. He was always off the pace. If there was a pace car, it was Songwon, and unfortunately, he was too slow at every need. He was never in the right position. Something to learn from. Definitely a VOD review that will be very fruitful for what is a young jungler. But when it comes to this series, Kongdoo Monster would not be looking at this series as one they should be dropping. It's time to get Raze back in. It's time to reset for Game 2 if you're Kongdoo Monster.
Yeah, fully expect to see Yujun subbed out here, put Raze back in, just given his performance as of late, but let's go ahead and take a look at that pentakill yet again.
And this is a team in harmony when we see it at the end, but as it starts up, why not turret dive? Songwon doesn't take damage from anyone. Is looking for the first few kills. The triple comes in. The moment the Quadra is registered, that's when they feel really confident here. We were watching the Nexus.
Look at that damage.
And that's where the team says, let's go for it, let's do it. Doesn't matter if some KDAs are ruined. A pentakill is something that Lava will never forget. Congratulations, that man on your screen. Lava gets the first pentakill of 2018 over here.
Yeah, and perhaps the MVP here from game number one, as I believe he finished. Yeah, he went deathless throughout that entire game there versus Kongdoo Monster. So a good omen for ROX Tigers as they look to 2-0 here in this series and start climbing up the standings. But Kongdoo Monster, bit of a poor one. Likely going to be seeing Raze come back in. You can see head down there from Yujun.
Tough to have your first game on stage go quite this poorly,
yeah.
But that's what happens sometimes.
It's a rookie debut, but all right, we'll see how things are going to change up for game number 2 after we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because this very well could still end up going to game